Good evening, good evening. Right, what we're going to do, we're going to make pies. Shall we make pies? There's the pastry board with a little bit of flour on it. So, no, that's not flour. This is actually a very messy job that I'm about to do. Very important job, but first of all, we're going to clean this board off. It was clean, I've done half a job. Now I want it clean and we'll do the other half of the job. So unless you want to watch me dust and hoover, I'm going to turn you off. I do dread to think what that actually does to a vacuum cleaner. That was a mixture of this and chalk dust. It probably kills hoovers, but there we are. First job is to make sure this is all nicely mixed up, and of course, like a lot of things that lives in pots with sort of sheets on it, it does separate and you end up with lots of oil on the top and lots of solid stuff on the bottom. So, bestest stirrer I've ever come across, old screwdrivers. We'll give that a jolly good wind. Now it's not too far wrong because of course I stirred this yesterday. Now when you're working with leaded glass, you've cut the glass, you've cut the lead, you've soldered it all up and it's all lovely and it rattles. And if you're making a window, it's not going to be waterproof and the glass is going to be loose in the lead, and yeah. So you've got to cement the glass in, and you need to do one side of the panel one day, let that sort of set, and then do the other side the following day. You don't really want to leave it much longer than that, but you want to leave it a day because, right, let me pick up a piece of stuff. Right, imagine that there's your job that you're very proud of. You've soldered it beautiful, better than I have, hopefully. You've soldered it all up and you've pushed the cement in and that's still wet. And because you're keen, you turn it over and you push cement in that side and you push the cement out that side. So do one side, let it dry, sort of clean it, make it fairly respectable, and then do the other side and leave it, and then clean it all down, and then there's a little bit of polishing to be done. Now, as today is Thursday and as I want to be sort of all done and dusted by Saturday morning, I need to stop gabbing and get this job done. So, we put that down, we find the gloopy stuff, and being a real professional, the thing that I most wanted there was a little thing for pushing the glue around with, and the thing that isn't there is the little thing. So I'm going to turn you off while I go and find the little thing. It's a technical term that. If you go into any shop, any tool shop, and you say to the guy behind the counter, you know, I need, you know that job where you need a little thing? Well, I need a little thing. So I'm going to go and find a little thing. Right, well, the little thing has sort of been found. Never throw old credit cards away. This actually isn't a credit card, it's actually an obsolete, out-of-date security pass. But you know the sort of thing. That's sort of about the stiffness that I want for this job. The clever people show you how to do this with brushes. I actually sort of prefer to use a scrapery sort of thing. That is an odd scraper, and of course it is the wrong size. So what we're going to do, we're going to go chunk like that. That's what kitchen scissors are for. They're not for cutting bacon with. They're for cutting things like old credit cards. Right, we're going to use both ends. You know, I just want something that will push in there and something that will make short work of that way. So, right, let's get on with it. Is that gloop the right sort of gloopiness? There is a gloopiness standard. It was translated by Pierre de Gloop, who was a Belgian engineer, and yeah, we got the Gloop scale, you know, and this is gloopy enough. That's it, gloopy enough. And you push that in, and again, we're not going to be tight with this. We're going to make sure and use plenty of it, because we don't want to be coming back to this job. We want to do it once and get that cement into, you know, between the lead and the glass. And it's one of those jobs that, you know, the first time I did this, I took ages. And then I worked out that actually the quickest and best way to do this is quickly and best. You know, push the stuff in, get it in there, like so. As I say, we're not worried about wasting, we're just worried about sealing and getting it in. And this is why, of course, I cut a little narrow end, because this is how to now get my fingers dirty. I want to work that into there. And I'm not worried about getting my fingers dirty, because I've actually got soap and water. Don't know how to use it, but I've got some. When I was a young man last week, slightly longer ago, I was working one day with an engineer. He was a bench engineer who sort of made things out of materials that left you covered in grease and grime and such like. And he said the way to tell the difference between an engineer and someone who isn't an engineer is to watch them when they go to the toilet. I thought, well, I don't actually enjoy watching chaps when they go to the toilet, but you know, what are you talking about? He said, right, engineers don't wash their hands after they've been to the toilet, they wash them before. And when you think about it, that's right, because when you go to the loo, you're going to be handling parts of your body that require a little bit of respect, and you don't want to be pushing sort of metal shavings into your delicate bits, do you really? At least I don't. Right, do you want to watch the other two get done as well? Okay, well, we've got so far with this job. Now let's pop that very much out of the way. We'll pop that down there. where it won't make too much mess on the sacrificial old bedspread. Right, the next job is to sort of clean these, not fully clean them, but to get them into a state where they're not so messy. Yeah, it's just one of those things that needs to be done. So we'll take a lot of the surplus off. You know, we're going to be throwing this away as soon as we've finished with it, because we don't actually want too much gloopy stuff all over it. Yeah, Pierre de Gloop, he was quite a brilliant engineer. He did a lot of fluid dynamics, and one of the Belgian kings, I can never remember whether it was Albert or Baudouin or Leopold, or one of them anyway, made him a baron. And yeah, he went around the world performing gloop tests and producing lots of data, which a lot of it got lost because he had a laboratory in what was then known as the Belgian Congo, and he was working on some stuff, knowing that engineers never wash their hands after going to the toilet, they always wash their hands before going. He was testing various types of bathroom cleaner, and sadly he forgot the old thing, and I can never remember it, whether you add the water to the acid or the acid to the water. He got it the wrong way round, and poor old Baron de Gloop, instead of enriching the world with lots of scientific data on the thixotropic nature of cement used in lead glasswork, he got blown up with all of his notes. Sad, really, isn't it? Terrible story. But yeah, go and Google Baron de Gloop, or Pierre de Gloop, or as his friends used to call him, Ode Gloopy. See, a lot of people think Belgium didn't give the world very much, apart from chocolate and poireaux. Not true. There's a lot of brilliant Belgian engineers. Yeah, I'm trying to name one. Right, that is going in the bin. Yuck. Horrible, horrible. Now, from the magic carrier bag, what do we have here? Well, for those of you that like snow scenes, we have got chalk dust mixed with tree leaves. That's all good, isn't it? We don't need a tree leaf, we do need chalk dust. Again, I've watched plenty of videos on how this sort of works, and yeah, I sort of do roughly what some of them say, but this sort of helps the glue, the cement harden where you want it to. It's called various things. It's generally known as whitening. I don't know why they call it whitening. And this is possibly the most dangerous bit of the process, because obviously you don't want to be breathing the dust. The chalk, well, you don't want to be breathing chalk, any dust, but as it joins with the cement, the cement does have a lead content. So it's, you know, this is quite possibly quite a dangerous process. You probably should be wearing a face mask while you do it, especially if you get all carried away with the brushes. Right, let's put the bag with chalk dust down. And, where's a brush? Yeah, we'll use that one. Now, the first time I did this, I relied on the chalk dust to get the gloopy glue cement off, and it took forever and it took a lot of chalk. But by removing the majority of the unwanted cement, we get the job done a bit quicker and we use less chalk. Incidentally, this is another job you should not do in your own home. You should, when you're house sitting for somebody else, you should do this job in their front room on their best carpet. It's really absolutely ideal for that. You don't get too carried away with it. You sort of let it rest and relax. And then we'll clean it up later as a final clean up. Oh dear. Fantastic. Right, let's put that out of the way. Let's clean my hands. And yeah, because I'm in my own place, I'm going to clean this carefully. If I was in your living room, of course, I'd just tip that on the carpet and let you worry about it. That's fair enough, isn't it? Right. The next thing is to leave those alone until tomorrow night. Tomorrow night I will go around them carefully with a sharp stick and just tidy them up nicely, and then I shall polish them with great polish, you know, blacklead, and that will make them beautiful, hopefully. Right. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and yeah, let's see what we can get up to next.